Hello and welcome to episode 47 of the Footy with Fletch podcast. Today I'm joined by Ava Campbell. Ava captained the Eastern Rangers in the under-18s girls side in the Coates Talent League in 2023. Ava is currently a Collingwood VFLW player. Hello Ava, thanks for joining me on the podcast. How are you?
Hey, Fletch, I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me. How are you going today?
I'm really well, thank you. Now, we've got to sort of settle this, I think, because I'm a Carlton supporter, you're a Collingwood supporter.
Oh no.
It's
Oh no.
it's not as bad as what happened when I had Simon Madden on. He logged out of the Zoom when he saw that background and
As
jumped
it
back
should.
in. But what was it like seeing the Pies win the premiership last year?
Oh, it was heartbreaking when I actually found out that I couldn't go to the game. That was definitely a bummer. But I watched it with my extended family. We're all mad Collingwood supporters. And I kid you not, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a noise complaint from all of our neighbors because we were like literally screaming every single goal that we kicked because it was just such a good game, but we were like literally going crazy. And it was just genuinely one of the best days. It was just like genuinely the best day to be a Collingwood supporter, I reckon.
And now, what is it like, I guess, to be playing for Collingwood in the VFLW? It's a bit of a 360 moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely not where I thought that I would be on grand final day, but to be around the club and for the six or I guess 9 months that it has been, it's been like it's so surreal to walk in there and see all the new designs that they put up and like the premiership photos the first thing you see when you walk in and it's just so cool. So I think it's really the time in which I'm there has been I've been very, very grateful for because I don't think that that'll happen too many other times across the club's journey.
Who were some of your favourite Collingwood players growing up?
Oh, this is a tough question because there was obviously many, but Daisy Thomas was my go-to from up until the age of about like 10. And then I kind of had like a like an in-between period. And then Jamie got drafted in like the early tens, and I was like, boom, he's my favorite player, and he's been my favorite player ever since.
Now, a lot of Collingwood fans talk about Nick Dacos and etc. etc.
Yeah.
If there was a current Collingwood player that you'd model your game off, is there anyone that sort of stands out to you?
I can't put being a defender for so long, I always said that I'd like to see myself playing as Darcy Moore. Obviously, nowhere near the level of him, but not only just his playing ability, like he's a rebounding defender, but he's a really attacking defender, which is what I love. But I also love what he brings to the team as a leadership perspective. I think he's like literally just one of a kind. Like I feel like Pendles was really like get to work, just your standard captain. But I think there's a little something a little bit special about Darcy. So definitely model myself, my defensive game after him, I'd like to say. But no, as I said, nowhere near as good as him. But also leadership wise, he's just an absolute star. I'd love to actually like have a conversation with him.
It would be so fantastic for you to be able to talk to Darcy Moore. And
Mm.
you played basketball before you got involved with junior footy. Why
Yeah.
did you sort of play basketball early on before getting into footy?
Yeah. So basketball, I think I started up when I was in about like grade one and I played it for about 10 years. But evidently there was no like you know competitive competitions for girls footy that I was aware of anyway out in my area, and it was not until 2017 when the AFLW was introduced that my local club Muralbark had their first inaugural girls team, and I was like, oh, why don't I give this a shot. I grew up playing footy with my brother and my dad in the backyard, so I may as well try something out. And I just fell in love with it. I just loved it so much. I ditched basketball so quickly. And then I played that. But I think basketball was it was a sport that I enjoyed it was a sport that was there. There was pathways to be able to succeed. Whereas with footy, there really wasn't. But I'm glad that that has now changed, definitely.
And I guess for younger girls and even younger boys coming up through the ranks, do you have any advice for them?
Not really. I think just have as much fun as you possibly can. I think in junior footy, I had the best time, and as a player in the position that I am in now, I always reflect back on what it was like to be playing in those junior games, and it was just the most fun. And I think that's where my passion for it really stemmed. So I think just enjoy it as much as possible because it's you make not only the closest friends, but just I find that you find the most enjoyment out of that period of time in that sport, definitely.
And what were some of your highlights of your junior career? Anything in particular?
Well, 2019 won the first Mooroolbark Girls footy grand final. That was definitely a monument in my footy journey. I won a few league best and fairest, won a few team best and fairest, but individual efforts don't really matter as much to me. I think that the team aspect is always the best one. So yeah, that grand final was awesome. And then being able to play in representative teams, that was pretty cool as well. Definitely.
And how did the opportunity to play with the Eastern Rangers sort of come about?
Yeah, so that was in the back end of 2020 in COVID. Um, not Danny Ryan, the talent manager prior to Danny, reached out to me and a few of the us girls and the likes of Alicia Pisano and Laura Stone and said, "Do you want to come down and try out for us?" Because there was no real under 16s pathways like there is now. So we were training with the under 18 squad. So that was pretty cool as a 15-year-old. And I played like I think there was a couple of futures games played there, and then fortunate enough, Trav was like, "Would you like? I'm gonna put you in pretty much for the rest of the season." So I was playing 18-year-old footy at 15, which was just an awesome experience to have. So yeah, just kind of out of the blue, but yeah, awesome stuff.
And at the Rangers, you were coached by Travis Cloke for a period of time. What was that
Mhm.
like?
He's so cool. Like I didn't know what to expect when I first met him. The player that he was, I thought was a little bit floggish. So I didn't really, as I said, I didn't really know what to expect. But he's literally so far from that. He's such a down to earth person, and he always took pride in himself in the fact that he was a mentor, not a coach. So I think I learnt a lot about him. I learned a lot about him, but he also taught me a lot about myself and the person that I am, not just the footballer. He made you see beyond just the footy stuff, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, I think he was probably my favorite coach ever, actually. He was the best.
Well, he sounds like a fantastic person. You
Mm.
played 14 games for the Eastern Rangers last year, averaging 14.1 disposals and
Mhm.
3.5 marks. How did you find last season also captaining as well?
Yeah, it was it was definitely a lot going on, especially trying to do year 12 studies. I think my performance was all right. I don't think it was particularly spectacular. I don't think it was particularly too bad either. I think I gave solid efforts every game and was trying to be the best person that I could be for the team, and not only as an individual player, but as the captain. And I think I was always trying to make sure that everyone got the most out of it, including myself. But yeah, I think it was not a too bad season. Yeah. It was so much fun. It was so much fun.
And how did the captaincy sort of come about? What did that process involve, I guess?
So, in 2022, I was fortunate enough to be in the leadership group as a bottom major, under the captaincy of Bridge Deed, who's at the Hawthorn Hawks, and Mia Bush, was also the vice captain, who's at Essendon now. So I had that opportunity, which was awesome. That was really cool to have my first kind of real leadership position in a super, um, semi-elite environment for my age. And then coming into the season of 2023, it was a goal for me to push my leadership. I knew that I had the capabilities of potentially becoming a really good one, and being a good person of the people. And Ash literally pulled me aside at the camp, and we had been training for about a couple of months now, and he's like, Ava, I want you to be captain. I think you fit the role really well. And then that was that. And then got the rest of the leadership group, and we were on from there pretty much.
What do you think was the biggest thing that you learnt while being captain?
Yeah, it's not all glory. Sometimes it does have its down points. I think for me, it taught me a lot of things. One, it taught me definitely how to communicate and deal with people. Um, it taught me a lot of skills about that not everyone likes to be spoken with a certain way. So I had to learn how to adapt, and I had to learn how to accommodate for different people. Another thing I learned was probably I was a bit too selfless, and I think I sometimes prioritized other people over myself in terms of playing ability and putting more effort into making sure that everyone else was okay, instead of um, going out and doing stuff myself, if that makes sense. And I think that was kind of reflected in sometimes my playing ability, that I was trying to do everything right by the team instead of sometimes doing it right by myself. So yes, that was definitely something that I learned. Just needed to be a bit more selfish sometimes. I know that sounds a little bit floggish, but that's actually genuinely something that I did learn. But I also learned that it's so easy to create a good culture when you actually put the effort in. And I thought that we had a really good culture at the Rangers last year. And when people are willing to work for you, then it will work out in the end. So yeah, those are some things that I learned. It was a very interesting role to have.
Now, obviously, 7 players from the Rangers last year either got pre-signed or drafted, which is fantastic to see. Or what does that sort of mean to you and being a part of that group last year?
Well, like literally, as I mentioned, I thought that we had a really good culture last year. And so no doubt that a lot of those players that did get picked up in the AFLW draft were beneficiaries of that. And I think that was a really good reflection and a great credit to the Eastern Rangers in our team last season, and what we were able to produce and how that helped players go to the next level. I think definitely was a super environment to be around, and that's why so many people did succeed in the end.
And who were some of your favourite teammates to play alongside last year?
Oh, I can't single anyone out. I love them all. I think the top age girls, the girls at the same age as me obviously hold a very special place in my heart. My absolute best friends. But yeah, like Haley, Liz, Laura, Jacinta, Jess. They're just absolute stars, and I love them all, and I'm so excited for them to be playing at the next level because they absolutely deserve that, definitely.
And was there anyone at the Rangers that was a bit of a pest, that was a bit annoying? They were, I guess, a bit of a comedian, a bit of a class clown.
There were some of them were all pretty funny. Grace Barber definitely had her moments. Same with Georgia Knight. They were just like the little youngins that we used to make fun of sometimes in a very light way. But no, everyone was very, very fun. No one was annoying to be around, but we definitely did have some comedic people. Jess as well sometimes doesn't get noticed for how funny she is. She's just crazy.
And out of the teammates that got drafted, is there a particular player that we should, I guess, keep our eyes on moving
Mm.
forward and keep a close look at?
Yeah, I think they all bring really different aspects to the game. I think there was such a wide variety of players, like, from rucks to defenders to wings to mids, like literally everyone. I think just because of what she produced last season, I'm really excited to see what comes for Stoney. I think being Vic Metro MVP after only 2 games is a pretty impressive effort. So I'm really excited to see how she goes, whether she plays midfield or whether she plays back. because I know she struggled with a lot of head injuries last year as well. So yeah, she really deserves to get some game time this year and play well. But I could say that for all of them, but I've just singled her out as I thought she probably had the best individual performance last year.
And she's done great in the VFLW so far this year as
Yeah.
well. Are there any bottom age girls that we should keep our eyes on for this year and who might get drafted?
Yeah. As I said, I don't want to leave anyone out. I don't want to single anyone out. I know Grace Bellany's been really killing it. I saw she did well in the Box Hill game. And she's been at the games that I've watched Easton play again. I saw the game against Oakley. She played really well in that. So that's definitely someone to keep an eye out for. I think Molly Patterson, definitely. Evie Parker, Georgia Knight. Oh, I'm hoping I don't forget anyone here. Grace Barber, obviously. Yeah, they're all stars in their own way, so keep an eye out for all of them. Just get it, basically literally so many people will get drafted, I reckon.
And you were also involved with the under 18s championships, the AFLW under 18s championships, playing 4 games in the under 18s national champs, 1 game in 2022 and 3 last year. What did you
Mhm.
sort of learn from that experience?
I think the opportunity in itself was just a really, really cool experience, and I was very fortunate enough to be in it. I think I learnt a lot about playing in such an elite crop of players. To be able to, play with Emily Goff and Izzy Bacon and Amy Gaylor, like just all ascending footy players that will just go further and further with their footy. So it was really cool to learn and experience playing with them. I think that was the biggest takeaway with that. I think it's just when you're grouped with other people that are playing level footy with you. So I think that was definitely what I learned.
And unfortunately, last year you didn't get picked up in the AFLW draft. How challenging was that for you? And I guess how do you move forward from that?
Yeah, I actually haven't spoken about this um yet. So yeah, it was definitely a really difficult thing for me. I think coming off of having interviews with about like 10 clubs, you can't help but um write up this this hope that you'll get drafted. And I think for me, when it didn't happen, and to see, the 7 or so girls from Rangers that get picked up as well, like it's so bittersweet, because as much as I want to be so excited for them to have the position that they earned, it's super hard not having that as well. So it's definitely been a massive, massive learning point for me in just my life as a person. But I think it's a credit to my determination to still achieve that goal. I don't want to sound like a flog here. But I was on the front foot. I spoke with the VFLW clubs that reached out to me and said that they wanted me on their list, and Collingwood spoke to me, and I was like, this seems like a really good opportunity for me, because they were having a rebuild. A lot of their all of their list had gone, new coach, and I was like, I think this is a really good opportunity for me. So I went down and got to training in January, and that was that. But yeah, it was such a huge learning thing for me to still want to pursue my goals, even though I was really shattered at the end of the day. But I had a lot of great support around me, so that was really nice to see after all of that. Yeah. But
And
yeah, it was definitely really hard.
and do you sort of still have an ambition, a dream to one day play in the AFLW?
Absolutely. Like, I think I'd be silly if I said that I didn't. I definitely still do have that ambition. I just don't think that I'm putting as much pressure on myself as I once was to try and achieve that goal. Kind of like it will happen if if it happens, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's not the be all end all for me. Like there's a lot to life outside of footy, so I just think that I need to start taking the pressure off and try and, start enjoying the game as much as I once did as a junior player playing footy sort of thing. So yeah, I think definitely it's still a goal of mine though. I'm still working towards that, definitely.
And who were some of the VFLW clubs that did sort of reach out to you ahead of this season?
Yeah, so I spoke a lot with Essendon and I spoke a lot with Box Hill. Um yeah, they were a few clubs that reached out to me. Box Hill was probably the easiest choice for me to go to because I played there last season for a couple of games while on the Coates League break. But I just thought I thought Collingwood was the best opportunity that presented itself, yeah.
You did play 2 games for Box Hill last year. What was that experience like, given there's sort of that link with the Eastern Rangers?
Yeah, it was really cool. I definitely think the VFLW and Coates Leagues are two um very different competitions. There's a lot more physicality in the VFLW, but the Coates League is a lot faster and higher possession game. So going into the VFL, whilst in Coates League season was definitely different. I think that I was able to get a real hard reality check as to how hard people will hit you. Um, but no, it was a really cool experience, and especially to be playing with the likes of all the girls at Box Hill, and they were really good to us. So that was really cool. Yeah.
And in the AFLW Academy and under 23 All Stars matches, in April this year, you played for the All Stars. You had
Mm.
18 disposals, 8 rebound 50s, and you also went on to win the under 23s All Stars MVP award. What did you make of that experience as a whole?
Yeah, it was kind of a bit of a revenge thing to the recruiters that didn't pick me up. No, I'm just joking. Um yeah, I think that was definitely a really cool experience to play in. I was fortunate enough to play in it last year as well and to be picked again. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna give it my all this time and give it my all even more this time. And we ended up losing by 100 points because the academy team was just unreal. Some of the girls in that team are so good, which is a great credit to them. But I think for me, I was like, this is an opportunity. I really just want to give it my all. I don't know how many more opportunities like this will arise. So yeah, that was just kind of the work hard, reap the benefits sort of thing.
And who were some of the main forwards that you played on in that game?
Mm, I played on Emma McDonald from Oakley. I played on Zoe Basanko from Dandenong Stingrays. Can't really remember the rest of them. Those are the girls that I knew, definitely. Um, but I swear all of them just were forwards at some point in the game. It was that far of a margin. But yeah, they were all superstars, like seriously next level.
There's a lot of talk about this year's AFLW crop. You look at players like Ash Centra, there are so many players, Sophie Mackay as well. What do
Yeah.
you sort of think of the future of women's footy? It does look really bright.
It's so exciting. As a person who's such an advocate for females in sport, especially females in AFL, I think it's so exciting. And to be growing up in an era where there's girls Oz kick and there's all these pathways from, under sevens all the way into a competitive league such as the AFLW. I think it's so promising. I think it's so exciting. And this draft that's coming through in 2024 is literally just going to be one of many, many drafts that is just going to see so many exciting players. Like it's just going to get better and better. Like I know 2025, you've got the likes of Taylor McMillan and Chloe Baker West who are just tearing it up as it is right now. So yeah, I think it's super exciting to see the evolvement of the game, definitely.
And what has been the biggest highlight of being involved with Collingwood's VFLW program this year?
I think getting our first win was really cool. It took us 4 rounds in the end, but we got there. Um, yeah, I think to see all of our hard work come together was really cool. But yeah, just being able to meet new people and have new teammates, and really creating those bonds with the girls. No, as cliche as it sounds, that's been a really enjoyable thing for me this year, definitely.
And when can we expect to see you back out playing for Collingwood in the VFLW?
Yeah, it should be this week. I've just been managed a little bit, just been working on some RFIs in the background of things. So yeah, it should be this weekend.
And outside of footy, you're studying at university, you're studying a Bachelor of Professional Media and Communications, majoring in public relations and journalism. Funnily
Yes.
enough, and I'm also studying a Bachelor of Media and Communications, majoring in journalism. How have you sort of found the course and how has it been?
I still can't get over that we're doing the same thing. It's so funny. I feel like maybe I should start my own podcast to be level with the students in the course now. But no, it's been really enjoyable. I kind of coming into uni, I was like, oh, this is gonna be such a drag because I didn't want to go back to VCE because VCE was VCE. But it's been really enjoyable so far, and I've had a few cool opportunities to be able to do some journalism stuff, interviews and the like. So yeah, that's been cool. I'm sure you find that very interesting as well.
It's so much fun and it's such a great field. What sort of, I guess, media do you want to end up working in?
I'm not 100% sure. I think I'll find that out in the next couple of years and just, kind of work towards a certain occupation. But I definitely like sports media. I think that's really cool. People always say to me that they reckon they could see me being in an Abby Holmes or something on the sidelines. And I was like, oh, like that's not a horrible, horrible job at all. So maybe something like that. But I'm also like into, a bit of social justice in terms of like the feminism side of things. So I think maybe listening to a lot of people and sharing their stories is definitely something that I like doing. So yeah, I
It's a
think that's
great field and it's great that you're involved with it. A bit of a quirky question. What's your preparation look like before a game and do you have any pre-game rituals or superstitions?
not really. I'm so not routine like that because I swear if I play one good game and I try and do like the exact same thing that I did, it just doesn't it I just don't think it works. I'm not saying that I don't believe in superstitions. Like a superstition of mine is that I wear my green headband every single game just because I've worn that ever since I was like under 12. So I just think that's a bit of a superstitious thing for me. But probably before a game, I have some wheat bix in the morning and stretch out a little bit and then get to the game and kind of go from there. I'm not really a superstitious person.
And
Yeah.
just finally, what are some of your hobbies outside of footy and outside of sport?
I feel like sport encompasses a lot of my life, so I'm kind of boring otherwise. I'm a very social person. I like to see my friends every weekend, so I'll hang out with them. I've got a dog, Sammy. He's 11 years old. I'll take him for walks all the time because he's kind of getting a bit fat now. So I need to take him for walks. But yeah, apart from that, like uni, between working uni and footy, it's a busy life. So I try and be as social as possible, definitely.
And what breed of dog is Sammy?
He's a beagle cross a King Charles Cavalier, so he's a little beaglier. He's just this little rat thing, but we love him.
Well, thank you so much for jumping on today and for joining me. It was great to talk to you and all the best.
Thank you so much, Flash. I really appreciate having me on.